the sixth episode of Officially Unofficial, Other Side of a Successful Leader. I'm Sunandan Bhanja Chaudhary, and with me is the main man, the most gracious, evergreen, ever smiling host of the evening, Anu, as I call him, and as you guys may know him, Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Business World and Exchange for Media. Anu, last time we did this, I played our theme song, and I don't think the things went exactly as planned. So I thought I'd change my tune a little this time. So, Anu, let's play some word association.
I associate no words with what you said just now.
Oh, Anu, that's because I haven't started yet.
So what do I have to do?
So like the name suggests, I'll give you a word and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
What if I think of something inappropriate?
Well, then say something inappropriate. It's an unofficial show, right?
In that case, I apologize in advance to anybody I may accidentally offend.
Okay, so here goes. First word, integrity.
Rahul Dravid,
Handsome.
Tom Cruise, not Sunandan Bhanja.
Thank you. And success.
CP Gurnani.
Okay, I think I'll have to stop right there because I think you may have already introduced our next guest today. So today, we have a guest who is one of the most sought after leaders in the corporate world. Well, someone whose journey from Nimak to Noida goes down in the records of corporate history. He's also personally someone Anu and I really look up to. Mr. CP Gurnani. Mr. Gurnani, welcome to Officially Unofficial.
Hey Su, hey Anurag, hi, how are you?
CP, good to see you. Good evening.
CP, good evening. Good to see you.
Guys, good evening.
Thank you for being on our talk show. Lovely to have you.
Let me formally introduce Mr. CP Gurnani. Mr. CP Gurnani, as he's popularly known as CP within his peer group and friend, is the Managing Director and CEO of Tech Mahindra. He's had a career spanning almost 39 plus years, and he's held leading positions within Hewlett Packard, Pero India Systems, and HCL Corporation. CP also served as the chairman of NASSCOM for the year 2016 and 17. He's a chemical engineering graduate from the National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. CP is also a distinguished and active alumnus of that institute. He's also on the board of Mahindra Ecole Central. He's also the chairman of IIM Nagpur. CP has also been featured in the Harvard case study on Tech Mahindra and the acquisition of Satyam Computers and its spectacular turnaround. He's the recipient of many prestigious awards, including Best CEO Awards, Corporate Leader of the Year Award, Asia One Global Indian Year of the Year in Technology, listed among top 100 global CEOs as part of the Wall Street Journal CEO Council, Best CEO of the Year at the Forbes India Leadership Award, India Business Leader of the Year, IT Person of the Year, and I could go on. Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Back to you, Sue.
Yeah, and that's the abridged version, no, Anu?
Yeah, I think it's a super abridged one.
Let's get on. CP, we've done some digging and we've unearthed some secrets about you by some reliable sources.
Sorry, CP. As a journalist, it is my duty to keep my anonymous sources completely anonymous.
I mean, I can only tell you that being a salesman, it's my duty to figure out who your secret sources are, and I will eventually.
Eventually. Okay, at least we can go on right now. So, let me start. I believe in your school days, right? Let's go back to school days, from the time you started. And this is something we've heard, that you started as a door-to-door sales in the school days just because you wanted to have your favorite Ganeka juice, sugarcane juice. Is that really true? And do you classify that as a normal thing to do as a child, CP?
I guess every story does get twisted, and who would know this better than you guys? The reality was that yes, typically between the in the school summer vacation, we had a little bit of time available, and me and another close friend of mine decided to become entrepreneurs. So we did buy a few things and sold it at a relatively higher price. And we were door-to-door salesmen going around in cycles. The only bad part of this business was that whatever we earned in a day, we literally drank it. And please be rest assured, it was non-fermented fresh sugarcane juice. So nothing unofficial about it, other than there was no savings from that business venture.
We take your word for that.
And CP, most other mothers ask their children how their day was. Yours was a little different. Your mother asked you how productive your day was. Now I understand that your mother was a very big influence and a huge inspiration for you in life. Was this mindset that tailored you to reach these heights of success?
I mean, clearly your first teachers in life are your parents. In my case, I was blessed that I had a very small, loving family. My mother was a housewife of a very, very honest government officer. Her biggest struggle in life was how to stretch the budget beyond 25th of the month. So the few things that I still distinctly remember, my mom saying, even if the fever knocks on my door on 25th, I will tell the fever to come on first. Now, that was her way of saying that, yes, there are limited means, and but there was always a smile, there was always food, there was always love in the house. Everything was transparent and open. So it wasn't like if my parents were, finding it at times difficult to meet our needs, both me and my sister, it wasn't that they were hiding anything. So I think, yes, my mother and my parent, their father, both were a huge influence in my life. And I do believe that some of that education and early education by them, by just those simple statements, that don't say how good your day was, tell me how productive it was, I think in a way trained me to start measuring output, start measuring impact, start measuring value add. And trust me, I didn't understand it at that point of time. It took me a much longer to associate what she was trying to inculcate in me.
Right. Very interesting. Anu, we had something else from the anonymous sources as well.
So I'd rather let you do that.
So there's another thing we heard. I mean, in your college days, you would drive a cart at night and take your friends to have tea at the railway station, which was 8 kilometers away. And you're the leader.
I guess.
And the railway station was about 8 kilometers away, right?
Yeah, that's what we heard.
I mean, again, I'm a small town guy. Ended up in a small town called Rourkela. So 8 kilometers was one end of the town to another end of the town. So guys, I couldn't have driven any further. That's all I want to tell you. But anyway, I don't know who the hell is your source. But yes, it is true that like many of us or some people who had this extra energy, I lived 3 lives. One life was what I call my classroom life, which was very small part of my life.
Right.
The second part was that I did spend a lot of time being involved in a movement called Rotract. And number third was the evening, which started at about 10 o'clock and used to be endless discussions over chai or a bread omelette which was typically, could only be served till a certain point of time. And after that, there was only one place in Rourkela where you could get service, which was the railway station. And, for guys with, extraordinary imagination, we would steal the mess rickshaw and, literally drive down 8 kilometers to have those famous puri aloo or the chai. Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, it's only when you do crazy things you remember. But so I need to figure out who has been complaining about me.
Nobody. They remember you very fondly, I must tell you that. But let me also tell you, coming back to your college at Rourkela, there was the permanent fixture in college is the canteen. And those days it was, I think, the 3 P's of parmal, potatoes and pakal bhat, as they say. But and in the corporate life, you talk about 5 P's now, which is positivity, passion, perseverance, partnership and purpose. CP, what is this obsession with P's?
I mean, ultimately somewhere the Prakash part of me has to come out. Na?
It is.
My parents always called me Prakash. For a brief period, my schoolmates called me Chandar. Then for a brief period, my business associates called me Gurnani. And then I became CP. So P was always prominent. And it just happens that the lovely food that I left behind were potatoes, parmal and pakal bhat. I don't even know whether many people on this call understand what is pakal bhat. Pakal bhat is fermented rice. I mean, obviously eaten more in east of the India.
Yeah.
And it is designed for a siesta in the afternoon. Leftover rice, leftover with water, fermented, and you have it for lunch and then you have a siesta.
Okay. Interesting. Well, fantastic. But there's another thing that we heard that in your photo album you were described as charming, generous, the class photo album, charming, generous, and bound to trip the sales chart of any company you join. I got to say they were right on the money with that one, but I have to ask you in your opinion, do these qualities describe you? Feel free to add some of your own.
I don't know whether so. I mean, ultimately it was 5 years of staying together. And this souvenir that you have taken a page out of was...
in fact, we have it in with us.
And obviously, now I know that you have been talking to one of my college mates because Pakal Bhat, trip to the railway station on a mess rickshaw, and now this page out of the souvenir. I guess the 5 years we knew each other intimately. We lived in and out of each other's life, and those days institutes were much smaller. A typical batch was 200, and if your own branch was 30-40 people, and you lived every day 5 years. So I think it was right. I've always enjoyed interacting with people. I've always enjoyed, pushing myself a little harder. And so this particular souvenir, I think, has been polite. I can only assure you that if you...
No, it's lovely. We must show it if possible. I don't know, Mayank can show it on the screen.
Here's that photograph from the picture book. Deepak, let's show that photo. Mayank, let's show that photo. Here we have.
There you are. There's a lot over there. I just picked out a few words.
Popularly known as CP, he's an out-of-scene guy who has an unearthly interest in everything that goes on. Damn shrewd where coins jingle and is endowed with streaks of generosity, bound to trip the sales chart of the company he works for. His loyalty and greatness as a friend extends to the examination hall. His repertoire of anecdotes and the number of charming listeners is unsurpassable.
Amazing. That makes you nostalgic, I'm sure. You must be having a copy of that.
So for the record, my whole batch of 200 had only 3 girls in the batch. So I don't know what charming listeners are you getting ideas about.
But coming back to again college days, the road track you mentioned, I believe you with your 5 friends decided, I think this was fantastic, and to drive down, I mean, actually cycle down from Rourkela to Calcutta through forest, which was, also having Naxals and all that, to the road track club in Calcutta. And would you say, is that the 5 Ps in action right there?
So, I guess, the college mole. It was, a typical Rourkela was a cosmopolitan town, and regional engineering colleges were designed 50% from the home state, 50% people from the various other states on a quota system. Now, it just so happened that on a particular day, whether it was a Thursday or a Wednesday, there were riots in the town, and the district magistrate decided to close down all institutes, all campuses for 2 or 3 days. And some of us were enjoying our chai. I promise you that the bikes that you see today, the bike that my son rides, and the bike that we used to ride those days, and the bike, please understand, again, I'm talking of cycle.
That is right.
I know the bike right here is understood.
That is right.
Your Harley Davidson, so
yeah.
So
And
anyway,
amazing. It was your idea, and you were the leader.
I think it was a group which took a decision that. So one of our guys was instant decision on one evening. Next day early morning we started, and there were no telephones, nothing. I still remember the best part of the journey was 5 of us land up at one of my colleagues' house, one of my classmates' house, and it was in Alibag, Calcutta. I mean, his father was the CEO of Union Carbide. His mother did not allow us to enter the house.
Oh,
He actually took a hose pipe from the garden and literally sprayed it on us because she thought these were monkeys coming in from the jungle.
Oh, God.
So all 5 of us were sprayed by the hose pipe before we were even allowed to say hello to the parents.
I believe it took 3 days to reach Kolkata. And
500 kilometers, 3 days on those bicycles.
yeah, absolutely.
Atlas and Raleigh.
That's right.
Costing about 300 rupees. I think we did well. And I promise you that I don't know whether the secret has been shared or not, all 5 of us sat on the seat only for the first 5 hours.
Okay, my God.
After that,
Amazing.
You could, because you were so sore.
I believe on the way you met a farmer who actually had tiger cubs as pets.
Yeah, we did. And I mean, again, it was fun. And as I said, no money, plenty of time and plenty of energy. And you meet the great people, I mean, who offer you food, who offer you shelter. And you also, I mean, come across wildlife. Because remember, it was through the forest.
That's right. That's what I heard. Anu?
And finally another story.
Just 1 sec. Yeah. Yeah, CP.
I'm just reminding myself, you can only be crazy once. I don't.
Sorry,
Thank you so much for the funny story. And finally, another story. During your days at SCL, you never told your wife, Anita, about Saturday being a holiday and went to work every Saturday. CP Sahib, what is this kind of behavior?
I mean, what are you, my wife's Anedar or what? I mean, I got into enough trouble. I mean, listen, I mean, to me, it was one of those things. Earlier, Saturday was not a holiday. So let me correct the facts.
Okay.
And then they started, and they used to have some second or whatever Saturday as a holiday. Since it had become an habit for me that I would go to work on Saturday, and I was typically a kind of a guy who on Monday to Friday was spending 95% of my time on the field, I needed some time to clean up and prepare for the next week. So, and sometimes it was a time that you hung around with your team. So there was nothing unusual about it. So I did go to work on Saturday, and I promise you I still go to work on Saturday. So it's just that I've always created Saturday as the non-customer meeting time, but to catch up on my leftover or to plan for the next week. And somehow the Annu, that is my wife, Anita Gurnani. So Anurag, before you get any ideas, right?
Yeah.
So Annu felt a little offended that I had not shared with her, and to me it was like it has been business as usual. But I learned my lessons that make sure that before my colleagues light the bushfire, protect yourself.
Yeah, that's great. In fact, I also believe that, maybe because of the amount of time you spend in office, perhaps it's the phenomenal memory that you have, that you remember everyone's name and their families, even if you've met them many years back. What's the secret to this, CP?
I should have been a politician. I would have become somewhat with probably better output and better impact and better productivity. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's a more of a, I would say, used to be better. It's no longer as good. And I just like to take interest in people. Maybe again, the small town guy. If all of you remember your train journey, the auntie opposite wanted to know your father's salary and, others were married. So I guess I'm a little curious.
Okay. And just to build on what Sue said about your phenomenal memory, phenomenal memory, possibly your phenomenal energy that, Sue was telling me off screen also about your energy. And if we had to give a score, it'd be 15 on 10, possibly 20 on 10. And I'm not surprised when I'm told, because of your energy, you're always the first one to hit the dance floor.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
You're the first one to hit the dance floor.
In a party, you would be the first to hit the dance floor, I believe.
I mean, it's got nothing to do with energy. It is just that I think I like the music, and I love to shake my leg, and I guess it probably brings in the energy in me. So I think you have to say positive things to the guys who play the music.
Absolutely. But Dada, I have to ask, for a man as high profile as you, how do you unwind? Give us a glimpse of your life at home.
There is a lot of things that I do on a typical day. So for example, to me, there are no boundaries between work, home, and anything that external world of mine. So for example, the external world is IIM Nagpur or a Mahindra University or whatever initiatives, or if I'm mentoring one or two startups on any given day. I mean, everything is seamless. So I don't think there is areas which my friends, my office, or anyone who does not know. I still keep very close friendship with some of the people I've worked with, some of the people that I've gone to school with, some of the people that I've gone to college with.
Right.
And once in a while we do get together, at least be there to celebrate with each other. And I enjoy watching movies. I love reading. And honestly, my Zen moments used to be those long flights.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because that was the time I refused to get on a laptop. I couldn't do a call. I would take the non-stop flights. It didn't matter if it was a Aeroflot or an Air India or whichever. If it was a non-stop flight, I will take a non-stop flight because that was my Zen moment.
Anu?
That was your switch off from the world.
Yep.
So, Nandan, you have to ask him the next question.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, I've heard a lot when I speak to people about you being fearless and brutally frank and also great at building relationships at the same time. I always felt these were somewhat, mutually exclusive. How do you manage both?
So, what is the secret sauce to any relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Go through that question, ask 100 different people. Ultimately, the secret sauce will be building trust.
Absolutely.
And how do you build trust? By being transparent and honest. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I think ultimately, whether it is a business relationship or a personal relationship or any professional relationship, it all boils down to, are we adding value to the other person?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether in fun or whether in celebration or whether living for a moment or giving a business proposal.
Yeah.
That you can choose, where you want to make an impact or what value add you're doing, because a lot depends on that relationship also. And I'm not saying it is really a win-win. So I guess being frank and honest and building trust and relationship actually are synonyms.
Yep.
They are not two different
Absolutely.
parts of a magnet.
I've changed my mind. I agree with you absolutely. But let me tell you, the other thing I've heard is that, you behave the same way with a chaiwala as with a minister. But does hierarchy have no place in CP's world?
No, but that only means is that since I can't behave abruptly with a minister, so that means I'm being nice to a chaiwala. So, Sue, you should be happy about it. Huh?
I'm happy about it being
And it just so happens that
exactly what you
chaiwala
said, actually.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, exactly. Being honest and being about building trust and being what you say what you feel, right? And Anu, what about?
Let me talk about something that I will perhaps never forget, nor will our viewers and readers. You have been the highest paid CEO in the country. Sum up your journey for us and our viewers and let us in on some of your secrets.
So, I guess being the highest paid CEO, to me, it is an honor, and I'm very, very happy about it because, in a way, it shows that a small town guy, going to a small town college and being an entrepreneur on the job is also rewarding. So I hope this is one thing that if I ever want to pass on to the young grads, I think that is really what I want them to know, that there are alternate paths. Hard work, sweat, but entrepreneurship can take you to a pedestal which you should be proud of. I am proud of what I have achieved. My family is proud of what I have achieved. So that is one part on the highest paid. What are the other question on that?
So secrets, what has got you there? Is there a playbook to being such an accomplished CEO or a leader?
I think it's now well documented because even Sue knows about it.
Okay, let me shift gears. You are perhaps the only person in corporate history to get your own boss, right?
That was an interesting story. I used to work with the chairman of HCL Corporation Shiv Nadar. And one of the initiatives that I was responsible for was leading on HCL's behalf a joint venture with a company called HCL Pero. So I was part of the team that negotiated. The other person was Arvind Thakur, who is was the CEO of NIIT.
Yes.
So me and Arvind negotiated that contract with Pero, but Arvind chose to continue with NIIT, whereas I continued with the new venture called HCL Pero. And I knew both the joint venture partners since I was also the person who had done the strategic alliance. So I did go up to Shiv and I said, Shiv, we have Vineet Nayyar, who is coming from World Bank. Why don't we suggest his name to be the CEO? And Shiv looked at me, said, do you realize that Vineet is the vice chairman of HCL Group? We are talking about Vineet Nayyar Senior. We had two Vineet Nayyars in HCL at that point of time. The Vineet Nayyar, who ran Comnet and ultimately became the CEO of HCL Technologies, and Vineet Nayyar Senior, as he was called, who had come in from World Bank, who used to be the founder of GAIL. But I looked at Shiv and I said, unless we put up a candidate, listen, you have to remember I was still HCL, not fully joint venture. Unless we put up a very strong candidate, the joint venture partner will put in their own candidate.
Yep.
And hence, it is not about vice chairman, it is all about the potential of the JV.
Yeah.
Shiv liked the idea. I came down, and that time Vineet used to sit in our office downstairs, and I walked into Vineet's office and I narrated the story. Vineet had a very mischievous smile. He said, oh, now the temple dogs have to appoint me as the CEO. Because I was a junior minion, and since I had gone to the Shiv, and Shiv was called God at that time, so that is how I became the temple dog. And I said, yeah, temple dogs do have a duty, but don't call me a temple dog, I am the priest.